Morning. Welcome to the UBT Weekly Accountability Zoom. And for those of you who are brand new, welcome. If anyone's brand new, drop a 1 in the comments so we can welcome you. Hi, Tara. So great you can make it. And official welcome to Kim Bushell and Destiny. Hi, thank you for joining. So the way that the UBT accountability, UBT stands for Ultimate Business Transformation. It's a play on words. And so this is basically a container for my team, and it's a smaller container to give us a chance to have our voices heard and do a little bit of a deeper dive into some things sometimes, and for you to also to raise in leadership and be able to co-lead and support each other as well on the Zoom. So one of the things that sorry, I'm distracted letting people in. I should make you, let me make some co-hosts here. Hold on a second. So anyway, every week you guys have the opportunity to bring your new brand partners on. Anyone who's a brand new brand partner can come their first time without an application, so they can just feel the vibe, get connected to the community, see how awesome this is. And then after that, the following week, if they want to come ongoing, then you need to have an application. And so the application is very simple, 4 steps. The application is posting your action plan in the team page, committing to come weekly, being committed to your business. I mean, coming here is basically your accountability to your business, and having your 4 tracker sheets printed, and having a picture of your time blocks in your calendar or a screenshot, and that's it. And you'll be reminded. You can just ask your upline to help you if you want to apply. That said, this is also applying to this container is also part of the application to Sarah's container, which is the 6th. So Sarah Rhinelander is the top earner in the company. She is my direct upline. She has trained me, and she is amazing, one of my besties. And she just really, Sarah just has this incredible ability to move energy. Really, everything in this business, success in this business is really about moving energy. And I know that's kind of woo-woo sounding, but it's really moving through our blocks in our mind and having insights and revelations, and being able to also help others and recognize where they're stuck and helping them move past the block. So this is what I mean when I say moving energy, okay? It's like moving people through something and helping uplift, seeing the greatness in people and extracting it. And that is what Sarah's good at. We call it the greatness extractor. So being in her 6-week masterclass is going to be absolutely amazing. And her 6-week leadership masterclass. So this is something she's only going to do now. This is like your only opportunity this year. She only works a few hours a week. She lives in Uruguay. And she is offering us this container, which is kind of like a diamond run for people who want to get to diamond. This is going to help you pave the way. People want to go beyond diamond. This is going to pave the way. People want to get to consultant. This is going to pave the way. So no matter where you are on your journey in this business, her class is going to pave the way. And it's only 6 weeks. And it's going to be Mondays at 1 o'clock Pacific time. And the application is in our accountability thread. And you can also get it from your upline or from me. So letting people in. So this is, I'll let you do that. I keep wanting to do both. I forget, I have co-host, co-pilot, Stephanie Don. Yay, my trusty blue diamond, going black. So this is what we're gonna work on today. We're gonna work on focus. So also the application to get into this group also is part of the application to get into her group. So by applying to this group, it's also part of your application to get into Sarah's group, because the application to this group is posting your action plan, which is one of the most important things. The other thing for Sarah's container is writing a list of 200 people you know. Just brainstorm, write that list of 200 people from your phone, from your Facebook, from your Instagram, from anyone who comes to mind. We can do memory joggers like the mailman, the mailwoman, the clerk at your store, your dentist, stuff like that. So it's like really just thinking of anyone you know. Anyone, and not judging your list, but just making the list and being committing to writing it. So who wrote their list? Drop me a 2 if you've written your list. I see that Stephanie wrote hers yesterday. So who has already done their list? Let's see who's done it. And if you're working on your list, drop me a 3. Your last UBT was your dentist. Congratulations, Jane. That's awesome. See, dentist is a good one. All right, Naomi submitted her application. Anybody else has anyone else submitted their whole application? Congratulations, Naomi. You might have been the first one. So, all right, go Stephanie. You did. Awesome. Good job. All right. So one of the most important parts of the application, I say this for every part, this is the most important part. This is the most important part, but this is the most important part, is getting your business story down, is learning what your business story is and doing a static post. A static post means like a picture or a writing, right? It's just writing a post with a photograph and saying something about the business you're in, letting people know what the business is you're in, why you're doing it, what you love about it, what you plan for the future. So there's an art to writing this business post, right? Because if you're in business and you're opening the doors to your business, you need to let everyone know that what it is, right? How is anyone going to buy anything from you if they don't know what you do, right? If they have no idea, how is anybody going to buy anything from you if they don't know what your business is? Okay, so we got to let people know I'm open for business and this is what I'm doing, right? So your business forward post is a very important part of launching your business. And so this is your business launch. I launch mine every year. I'm about to write my business post, and my business post changes every single year. This is my anniversary for my business. I started 6 years ago, almost to the day. Actually, Sarah looked it up this morning. She said I started on April 29th, exactly 6 years ago. So happy 6-year anniversary to me. And all of those who've been with me on this journey. I'm so grateful for you. So writing this business post, one of the things I wanted to share with you that you may not know is that I studied news journalism. I wanted to be a photojournalist, and I also wanted to learn how to write articles and interview people. So I actually took a news journalism class in college, and I became one of the editors for the school newspaper in college. Boy, did I learn a lot, and that information I'm realizing applies today in our business posts, in our story medicine, in our story posts. And so that's what I was saying. For those of you who I said, hey, I'm going to tell you something new that you don't know. Well, that new thing that you don't know was about me. This little new tidbit about me. And so this is where I come from when people are sending me their business stories and I'm editing them, or I'm giving you guys feedback on when I see a post. It's not meant to criticize or judge or put anyone down or make anyone feel bad. It's literally coming from the point of view that, like, there's actually a formula to how you do a post, a business post, or any kind of post, and to gain the attention of your viewers. Because Facebook and Instagram are very similar to going to the store and, like, the newspaper article trying to grab your attention so you'll buy the newspaper, right? Like, when's the last time anyone bought a newspaper? Has anyone bought a newspaper this year? No. Has anybody looked at a newspaper this year and saw it at least and kind of glanced at it? Okay. Has anybody picked up a newspaper and said, oh, I got to read that article, and then I'm going to put it back down and then walk out? Okay, I've done that. Especially when the fires go. Whenever there's fires, it's like, this is relevant to me, you know, like, I need this information, right? So what's really important is that everyone moving through Facebook and Instagram is moving just as quickly as you are through the supermarket, and that newspaper is trying to get your attention, right? So you're trying to get the attention of all these scrollers. And so you've got to just kind of, you know, quickly move through the system. I can see Jay's trying to get in, but I can't figure out how to let her in. So that first comment, that first opening sentence, this is why we put so much emphasis on it, is because that sentence has to somehow summarize the feeling of what you're about to say. And in journalism, it's not like writing a book, okay? Writing a book and writing a newspaper article are two totally different things. Writing a story is different than writing a news article, right? So we're basically wanting to capture, and this also different. So this, what I'm equating the news article to, is also equivalent to your lives, right? So when you go live or you post, you want to capture and summarize the entire event in one topic, in one thesis, right? Your thesis statement, right? So you want to capture their attention in that impact statement. We call it an impact sentence, an impact statement. So the first thing we write is always the impact. So when we're doing story medicine sessions and I ask you what I say, it's like, oh, I had such a, oh, I slept so well. I feel so great. I'm having such a great time. I love my job. It's like, but what was happening before that makes this so interesting? Without conflict, there's no resolution, and there's no story arc, and there's no interest, and you can't capture someone's attention. So when you start out like everything is so great in my day, people are like, oh, that's cool. She's having a good day. They might read it all, but they may also just go, oh, cool. Like things are good. But if you're like, damn, I was struggling, right? Then they're like, well, what's she struggling about? I care about this person. I need to know, how can I support them? Right? So this is why the impact statement is so important, because we're catching their attention before they come on. So now that's a static post. Now we're going to talk a little bit later. We're going to talk about going live, and Stephanie's going to also share some things about going live, but we are going to talk about going live, how you want to capture their attention. Once you have your business story down, then when you're interviewing somebody and you know their business story, you can summarize their story before they come on to the live. So actually, I think I'm going to start with this. I think this is important. And then we're going to move into writing business stories. I have seen a lot of videos. Now, everyone's nervous. Don't worry about your first 3 to 5 or even 10 videos, okay? Because you're figuring it out, right? Everyone's getting used to and I don't want you to be afraid of one more thing. This is not something that's like, it's like a big deal if you miss it your first few times, because you're just practicing. Remember, your first 200 prospects are just practice, okay? Your first 200 is just practice. But sometimes what happens is it's like, this is what a live looks like. Okay, I press live and it's like, hi. Okay, I'm gonna introduce my friend, my really good friend. My friend is so cool, my good friend. Wait, let me see if I can get her on. Okay, so now somebody's just walked through the supermarket and they've glanced and they just keep going, right? Same thing. It's like they're scrolling through, they see the live. How many times have you gotten onto a live and you hear like a few seconds and you go, not interested, and you switch, right? How many times have you gotten? Anybody gone into a live and they're like, I'm not interested, I switch? People's attention have the attention spans of a gnat, okay? People have the attention spans of a gnat. So what we want to do is not worry about the person coming onto our live when we're doing interview yet. We want to engage our audience, because most of the people who come on, the majority, all those other 100 viewers or 10, 20 more viewers are going to see the majority, like 90% of the people who see your video are going to be the people who watch the replay, like 90%. So the 10%, the first 10%, you gotta be talking to those 90%. And you got to think, they're going to watch the replay. Are they going to be interested in watching me fumble around looking? Okay. So don't worry about yourself. Like, I don't want you to like get upset or get concerned and like, oh no, I'm so scared. One more thing to worry about. Just have this in your information. Try to do your introduction before you fumble around looking for the person's request to join, and say something impactful in that first 10 seconds about what is going to happen. So they're going to stay, like, hey, hi, everybody. Oh my gosh, I'm about to interview the most interesting woman, Stephanie Dawn. She is the chair of the Million Mom Movement. Boy, does she have a fascinating story. You have got to stick around and listen to this. How she's changed her life, how she's changed other people's life. It is incredible. And now I can fumble. Request to join. And if you're really skillful, you might even talk while you're fumbling, right? Getting her on the screen. Why isn't she joining? So whatever like little technical thing you need to get through, like you've already said the thing. So now they're like, I'm going to wait through this fumble. I'm going to wait until they get her on, right? And she might have already gotten on while you're talking. You don't need to stop. You can just keep talking. Like, she's on there now. She's heard your beginning. She was there watching. She's continuing. You just finish what you're saying. And then now she's already on and you're like, okay, hi. Another thing you don't need to do is once they come onto the live is go, oh, hey, Stephanie, yay. I was just telling them how awesome you are. And what a great, it's like, you already heard that. You already know that I just said that. You were listening and you're like, and so you just jump on and you go, thank you for that introduction. We can just jump right in. So these are just tips on how to be efficient with your video lives so that you're getting people's interest immediately and that you're actually sustaining it and holding them there so they continue to be interested. All right, so those are the tips. And then make sure you have a call to action in your lives, a CTA, we call it, call to action, so that like even throughout the lives you're plugging that, like either you're doing you're like inviting people to the business, or you're inviting them to a group health reset, or you're inviting them to spring vitality. Because as you're getting conversational, those people who are on the live, who are coming in while you're talking, are coming in the middle. They don't know what you're talking about. So you want to make sure you have these little calls to action kind of sprinkled throughout your live if it's a long one. And especially at the end, it's like, hey, listen, get in touch with us if you're interested in, you'd like to collaborate with us, or you're curious about what we're saying, get in touch with us. Let people know that they're invited to connect with you. They may be intimidated. Like, people look at your live and they like think, and they don't know you that well. They think of you as like a news anchor. It's like, oh my God, am I going to talk to Wendy Fukuda right now? Like, oh my God, is she going to like talk to me? Wendy Fukuda was a news anchor that was popular when I was a kid. So just think, people are like, might be nervous to reach out or to talk to you. So just, you want to be warm and like welcoming them to like have that invitation to reach out to you, that you're like, hey, they're worthwhile. Like, people that have so much self-worth issues, they're like, oh, I wouldn't want to like reach out to them. Like, that, who am I to like reach out into this? And you're saying, hey, I want to work with you. Like, we want people who are interested. We want people who care. We want people who are interested in the environment. We want you. You are here watching. So therefore I want you. So we want people to feel wanted. So, so more tips for the lives. I think this is a good time actually to bring in Stephanie to talk a little bit about the lives. She's gonna share with you some juicy information. Speaking of, this is Stephanie, my right arm woman. I don't make any decisions about Stephanie. One of the things I love about Stephanie is she is so professional. She has a very professional background in helping midwives create businesses. Like, she was actually a business coach. And so how she presents herself and comes to the Million Mom movement, and how she does her introductions are always really, really warm and really whole and really fulfilling. And so Stephanie had some other tips to share with us today.
Thank you so much, Rachel. I was just noticing in the chat, everything you just shared, Rachel, is so on point and so needed for us all, myself included. So thank you for that. So I want to talk with you all about professional conduct for your Instagram lives, your Facebook lives, and yes, even on a Zoom. Sometimes it's less so on a Zoom, but it's also just food for thought. So one of the things that's really important when we are about to go live is we really don't want to be eating anything at all, or having any gum in our mouth or anything like that at all. Shakes are totally fine, because obviously that's what we're promoting is our, organic fast food, right? So you just don't want to be eating anything or chewing gum at all. You really want to make sure that your hair, your makeup, if you wear it, your lighting is all good, right? So find your light. I'm a former actress. So it's like, oh, where's my best light? Actually, I could even be pivoting the camera a little bit better right now to get my best light for you all, so you can see my face, okay? And so be thinking about those things. Be thinking about what's in the background, right? What's going on with your background? Is it distracting from you? Because you don't want that, right? You don't want it to be distracting. You want all eyes on you. This probably goes without saying, but I'm going to mention it because we're living in a virtual world right now, and we just don't want any nudity. No nudity on Zooms or Instagram Live or Facebook Live. Just be really conscious about whether or not your camera is on or off, because there have been situations in the past where, body parts have been revealed. So be conscious of that, all right? If you are someone who drinks alcohol, I'm not really one of those people, but except for very fine champagne. I've been known to enjoy very fine champagne. My sister, she loves fine champagne, so she'll share it periodically when we're celebrating. But we really don't want to be drinking alcohol at all, or making any references to alcohol at all. Obviously, here's how I think of it. I was just talking with Rachel about it this morning. I represent Dave and Amy straight up. Wherever I go, whatever I do, in person, live, I'm representing Dave and Amy. I'm representing the brand that is Purium. And so how I be in the world, I have to be thinking about that all the time. And further, I got to be thinking about the brand of the Million Mom Movement, as I am indeed the chair. So the other thing that that leads to, of course, is no smoking of any kind at all. So not, very few of us smoke cigarettes anymore, but several of us, do smoke cannabis. So we don't want to be ever smoking on a Zoom or a live or be just showing up in that way. That's just not professional. Okay. If that is where you want to be going with your business, and particularly like CBD is your road and you're all about THC and CBD, then that's different. It's all about your niche. I'm sorry if that's loud. They're grinding something here at this cafe I'm at. So look at my notes here so I cover everything. We want to be really thoughtful and mindful about how we're using language, okay? How we are coming across. And also, this ties in with how we are representing the brand, right? So watching our F-bombs. I know that I'm guilty of sharing them rarely, but I do. They can be warranted, but not often, okay? And we do have crowns in our upline who are all about not swearing at all. And I do respect that, but if that's counter to how you show up online, then you gotta be authentic. So we want you to be authentic, but we just want you to be cognizant of how you're coming across, okay? So we're here to inspire and uplift people. That's what we're here to do. We're here to inspire, uplift, and, help people elevate, right? Elevate and empower. That is the goal of the Million Mom Movement, straight up. So we can all do that by just being ourselves, right? By shining our light. Those of you who are on my team, you know that my team is called Team Radiance, and it's all about being the light in the room. So what does that mean? It means we're here to educate, we're here to empower, we're here to inspire, share our stories. That's how we do that, right? By sharing our stories. If you are, if you have to be driving, of course we understand. I mean, I think I've got team on right now. They're like, I've got to go pick up my kid. I'm like, it's all good. Just listen, right? Turn off your camera and just listen. It's all good. But if you're doing a live, I don't recommend doing an Instagram or Facebook live while driving. I really don't. I see people doing it and I'm just sort of like, like I feel tense for them. And that's not how, you don't want to make people feel tense, right? So I'm not a big proponent of that at all. I never do that. I will show up on a Zoom if I'm listening. Sometimes I'll be holding it while I'm driving, but I try to pull over if I need to interact and say something, right? Because we want to be super mindful when there's large vehicles involved. So when you're showing up live, you want to be like, that's the only thing you're doing, right? You want to be present. You don't want to be multitasking. You don't want to be, unless that's part of your live is making a shake, right? Then of course that's fine. But just know that if your attention is elsewhere than the people that you're talking to, you might lose them. And we don't want you to lose them, okay? So the other thing that's a huge pet peeve of mine, and those of you who do it know who you are, you'll notice right now that my camera is stable, right? My camera's stable. Because I'm on my laptop right now, right? But if my camera was like this, how does that make you feel? Or jiggling, whoo. So if you're holding your camera, if you're holding your phone, oh, no bueno. You don't want to be holding your phone. And you know what I've even done? I was telling Rachel this the other day. I have this really cool sort of like octopus arm that you can like wrap around a tree or anywhere you are and it holds your camera. So find a device that holds your camera. You want to have a stable camera. Otherwise, you're going to lose people. I jump off lives all the time if their camera isn't stable. I don't want to feel like I'm on a roller coaster, right? Not fun. So you always want to be thinking, like, what is the experience of the person who's watching me, right? And here's something that you're really going to get so profoundly in Sarah's leadership incubator. We are raising leaders. Show up as a leader that you'd like to follow. All right, I'm done. Mwah. Thank you so much, Rachel.
Thank you. That's so epic. So this also applies to team Zooms. This also applies to Connect calls. Just be aware of like how you're pulling attention, right? So like if you're moving around a lot, you're like pulling people's attention off of the speaker. Just be aware. And so you can just, if you're going to be moving around a lot, just like turn your video off, right? So just being aware of that. But we also really want people to be on video too. So, do your best to be stationary when you can so that you're actually present and focused. And that's for you. Also, I know that I multitask sometimes I'm like on my camera off, I'm multitasking sometimes. And I know when I'm doing that, I am not getting the information. I'm not getting 100% of the information and missing things. And to tell myself, oh, I'll go back and listen to it later is a joke because I won't. Nobody goes back. Very few people go back and listen to replays. So if you've been there once, you're not going to go there again unless you like love it so much and you're just like, I got to watch this again. So anyway, thank you, Stephanie. Beautiful. Great. I just appreciate all the professional tips. And so back to journalism and doing our business forward stories. So who has actually done their static post? Who has done actually a business forward static post? Keep your hands up because I'm going to go through the windows. Actually, just drop me a 10. If you've done a business forward static post, let's just see it in the comments. Drop a 10. And if you are drafting one, drop an 11. And if you feel like you need help with drafting one, drop a 12. If you're like, I don't know, how do I do that? Okay. So a few people are saying they're drafting, some people need help. Okay, great. So everyone who needs help, you're going to have an opportunity. We're going to get into little 3-way groups to like have a little support in this. And what you want to create is and even if you've done one, this is good practice, is coming up with your thesis topic, right? Like, what is your statement? And so we are going to do a little practice. Jilly was so sweet to allow me to use her as a demo. Are you there, Jilly? Where are you? I don't even see you. Oh, I see you're on you're not on video, so I don't know if you're available.
I just got Maeve down, so I'm just getting myself organized with my notes.
Perfect timing. Cool. So I don't know if you're able to if you can copy paste it into the comments so that we can kind of look at it, or if you want to just read it, or if you want to just hear it verbally.
Oh, oh my gosh. Yeah, well, hang on, let me find it. I'll drop it.
So Jilly and I were going to work on hers, but we decided to do it on the Zoom so that you guys could see kind of what it's like to craft a story and to have the help to craft a story. So starting with that impact statement. And so, just let me know when you're ready, Jilly.
Okay, I'm just grabbing it. I have to say it's not, even in the end, it kind of drifts because I'm not really sure where to go.
So here's what I'm going to have you do. I'm going to have you read it, and then I'm going to have you give yourself your own critique. And then we're going to talk about what works, what we like about it. And then I'm going to help you organize it according to the journalistic style that I learned in college.
Okay. All right. Where did I put it? There it goes. Okay. Didn't even copy the whole thing. Okay. So
there it is. Okay, everyone can see on the side. So you can look into the comments, chats, and you can read along.
It did cut off, so it doesn't go straight there. Okay. If you don't feel well in your body, you cannot dream. After having a major health transformation, I left behind stress, anxiety, body pain, exhaustion, excess weight, and doubt. By taking a leap and listening to my heart and not my brain, I have gained community, growth, development, expansion, friendships, a paycheck, and purpose. If you know me well, you know I have always struggled with confidence and self-worth. Deep down, sorry, really, everybody's emotional today. Deep down, at least people I've been talking to, deep down, I knew I was destined to do more, but without a huge education behind me, I never believed I could. I love people. I really love people and connections. It's why I loved weddings. I got to really know the couple, execute a day for them they would remember for a lifetime, never leaving one stone unturned. It brought joy. Then the world shut down. Weddings were shut down. Daycares were impossible to find. And could we even afford daycare if we could get in? We made a decision. It would be tight, but we knew it was the right thing to do. I stayed home. I started losing myself like so many in COVID. It was lonely. I'm a people person. But what scared me the most is as I stopped even reaching out to my friends. I wasn't myself. I was depressed. I was living with the weight of what felt like 100 pounds resting on my chest. Then it's too long. Then I found a health trend.
Pause right there for a second.
Yeah.
One of the things I wanted to ask, I forgot to do this, but what I meant for everyone to do is I wanted you all to listen for the impact statement, something that really like goes, oh, like I heard that. So I want you to all look at her, what she's written, and find the impact statements, the things that you're like, whoa, that really just, that was like landed on me. You know, like that I felt something when I heard that or when I read that. Okay. So, it's not too long, Jilly. I mean, it is too long for the final draft, but it's not too long because we're working on it, right? So this is just a rough draft, and it's really important in your rough drafts to write it all out and to just get all your thoughts on paper and unedited, just get it all out, just everything you can think of. All right. So can you go ahead and just back up a couple sentences and continue?
Living with a weight of what felt like 100 pounds resting on my chest. Then I found a health transformation that changed my health, dissolving my depression and anxiety so much I never filled the prescription. My sleep changed, my energy shifted, and I was more patient, more vibrant, felt like myself again. People noticed. They wanted to try the transformation too. What started as a shout it from the rooftop kind of share quickly turned into a thriving business, a business where I found community, training, friendships, education, self-worth, connections, and even a paycheck. When you believe in what you do, you can move mountains, grow in ways you never knew possible, and even start to dream again. And then this is where I'm tapering. Like I've got all these last sort of, if you read this far, which I'm not really a fan of that sentence, and you're looking for more, you want to partner with a company that aligns with all your core values, make a residual income, all while helping others. Message me. I also wrote, sometimes breaking through barriers, saying yes, listening to your heart brings a treasure you never knew existed. I have like afterthoughts, even though deep down I knew I could shine bright. I just didn't have the tools to dig it out. When I set my mind to something and I truly believe in what I'm doing, look out world. I don't know. These are all like things.
This is great. This is great. There's a lot of great stuff in here, and we want to extract the most like poignant points, and we want to put it together in the way that's going to be like a big wow, right? There's a lot of wow in here. And once we get concise and consolidate, it's going to be like, the impact is going to be like a big splash. So, I'm just going to ask you a quick question. What are your thoughts generally about this? When you hear it and you hear yourself say that, what do you think or feel?
Myself? I just think it's too long, and I agree that there's not an impact statement at the beginning. I honestly, this is a really hard one for me to write because it's my own personal block about the business. So I feel like I'm like, I just want to say dicking around. I'm not trying to find a nicer term than that.
Jilly Dickinson around.
Yeah, sure. I totally am. I'm like skirting. That's a nicer word around the point I'm trying to make.
So here's where the skirting is. When you say if you, and then you make it about other people. So being vulnerable is always, when we say I, this is what happens in life, right? We start saying you, like, when you start feeling kind of crazy when your husband says things like this to you. When we do that, we're separating ourselves from our story, right? And I'm just making something up out of the blue. Like we were separating ourselves from the story. We're not using I statements because I can feel too vulnerable. Right. But that's where the authenticity is. And that's what's going to attract your people, is when you're in the I statements about yourself and you're being vulnerable. That's where people are going to relate to you. Right. So as soon as we start saying you, we lose some juice. So in the very first statement for me, if you don't feel well in your body, you cannot dream. So that already is, and thank you for allowing me to just kind of, just like use this as an example. So that already, like, it's a beautiful sentence and it's very true. And it's also not personal. So the first statement, we really want to have that impact statement that's so personal. So I worked on with Naomi. Did anybody see Naomi's business forward post the other day? And now it was just reshared to the William Mom movement. We worked with that post for a while, and then her first sentence became I struggled. I struggled for 4 years until I had to leave my job, or until I decided to become a single mom so I could protect myself and my children. Like, she was able to say so much in that sentence without telling you her whole story, but yet you can like understand what she's saying and feels like, whoa. Okay. So now that's an impact statement. So now when we're looking for that in Jilly's, I'll tell you halfway down, let's see, I struggled with confidence or something I saw. I can't remember where it is. If you knew me well, you know I have always struggled with confidence and self-worth. Deep down, I knew I was destined to do more, but without a huge education behind me, I never believed I could. I want to cry, like something about that. Like I literally felt like verklempt, like, oh, like I just want like a tear. I like wanted to cry when I read that right now. That had that feeling right here, right now. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's moving. That's an impact statement right there. You could start right there. That could be the beginning of your whole business forward post, because you're sharing a vulnerable experience and feeling that people can relate to. Because then when someone relates to that vulnerability, they're going to look for the solution. They're like, well, what did she do? Because they're going to say, what can I do? By seeing what you did is going to help them see what they can do. Right? So we're not going to piece this whole thing together right now, but I wanted to give you guys a start to see how I work with people and their stories. And so you can start to look at your story and think about what is the most vulnerable thing I just said in my whole story, and then how can I say it, and then how can I put it at the top and start there? Brene Brown, right? Any Brene Brown fans over here? Vulnerability, right? So look up Brene Brown if you haven't, and do YouTube search for Brene Brown, and she talks all about vulnerability. She's empowering. What I love is that her whole stance is that vulnerability is your superpower. That is your power. That is where our power lies. And to be honest, in 12-step programs, it's the same thing. Like I can't give up whatever my addiction is, whether it's substances or a person or anything, until I'm willing to admit that there's something I am powerless over. Until I'm willing to be aware of, it's like until I admit that powerlessness, that vulnerability, I am not being authentic. So and then once I'm authentic, I'm relieved of that weight, because now that's no longer a weight anymore. I've now just shared something, and now nobody can say that to me and like shame me about it, because I already just did that thing. I just already said it. So now I'm no longer worried about anyone else seeing me that way, because I've just seen myself, and I've just seen that part of myself, and I brought light to it. And so now I can start to move forward and shine and go like, and here's what I'm going to do. Here's what I'm doing to work on it, or here's what I did to work on it, and here's what worked. Right. So, I've been to 12-step meetings, and I've heard speakers who've been like in the worst. They start with like the worst part of their life, and then they tell you where they are, and you're like, wow. And then in the program, that makes me want to get sober from whatever my thing is, whether it's, whether it's an addiction to a substance, or it's an addiction to a person, or an addiction to a habit, or an addiction to a wrong thought, whatever it is. Like that is when I hear someone else's story, now a light has shined, and a bright opportunity has shown up. So, yeah, for those of you who haven't been to a 12-step meeting, that's what happens. I highly recommend them. I'm a big fan. Okay. And they're free. Costs nothing to have personal development there. So Jillian, this is like a fantastic story. And so then, and then it's like, oh, wow. Okay. So I'm so moved by that. So now what did she do? And so then you're like sharing this incredible story, about both your health and your business, so they're combined. I love that you combine the two stories together. It's totally okay to have your business story, have your health story in it too. It's just that your health story is a shorter part. This health story might be 1 or 2 sentences. Okay. So has that shifted anything for anybody? Does anybody feel like, okay, like that maybe shifts like how I'm going to work on my business story, or how I'm going to approach, or, I hope that's helpful. So,
can I ask one question,
yes,
Rachel? Sorry. I just was wondering, lengthwise, what are we going for?
So I always say if it's too long to text, if you have to email it to somebody, it's too long.
Okay.
Right? It should be something somebody can read in a text message. Now, that said, there are people who will read a whole long post. Majority of people will not read a whole long post. So if you have somebody who reads to the end, those might end up being your business partners, and they might be worth it. It's like, well, anybody who's willing to stick with this story obviously has my story and is going to be my brand partner. If you get one brand partner out of a post, that's good, because that brand partner could be your next crown. You don't know, and you've touched that person's life. So I'm not going to say that there's like a particular limit or length, you know. Instagram cuts you off well at, I think, 2,000 characters. I think Instagram allows you 2,000 characters. So you know that you're too long if you're going over Instagram length. So you can go into a word count and you can say 200 characters, I think, or 2,000. And if it doesn't allow you to post on Instagram, you know it's too long. So then you're going to cut it, put it back into your notes, and try to work with it some more until it fits Instagram. And usually Instagram is a great way to know what you need to cut out. Because if you have to make it fit, you're going to cut out and cut out and cut out. And all that's going to be left are the essentials. Because you're like, oh, I can't leave that. I can't cut that part out. I've got to leave that in. So what I want everybody to just say, what is an impact statement you heard in here? Like, just like, you know, anything that impacted you, any part of this, please feel free to give Jilly some positive feedback here for some of the beautiful things she shared. Just popcorn off, just like come unmute.
I heard her say, then the world shut down and I was lost.
The impact of COVID, exactly, which is a perfect thing to share in this business post because a lot of people can relate to that. Anyone else?
I relate to the fact that she was home and she started to lose herself. And I think, oh, well, no wonder I'd been home for 10 years, but like being a mom and you just don't get validated. So that really resonated with me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so imagine all the moms that's going to reach who can really connect with that story. That's really powerful.
I also agree with the daycare post, like a lot of us mothers and parents struggling, especially with under 5 years old, when you have multiples, you're paying like over a mortgage for daycare. So I think that's also a good point.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Because I was depressed with what felt like 100-pound weighing on my chest. Like I felt that one too.
Definitely. Definitely. That one impacted me too.
I loved it when you said I made a decision.
I made a decision. So much power in that. Thank you.
I liked what you said, Julie, about you didn't think you could afford childcare, because I think a lot of parents can relate to that.
Big one. Huge.
Also, I see the fact that she says, I love people. I see that as an invitation to connect.
And gaining community, like gaining community, growth, development, expansion, friendships, and a paycheck. Like when did you do that? Not 2020, not 2021, because that's crazy. That shit's not happening, and yet it is. And Jilly's showing that it's possible. And people are going to be like, where do I go? How do I get a paycheck? How do I feel good and build community when we're shut down, locked down, isolated, and all of these things? How? What is your solution? So I think that would really draw me in.
Thank you. Beautiful. Awesome. All right, good. So you guys have the hang of this. You understand like how we do this, right? You're looking. So this is why when we do story medicine session, we have one person write down the story and the other person talks, because the person's writing down all their impact statements, like, oh, that was juicy. Oh, that was good. Oh, I like what she said. And then you just read that back to them at the end of the story medicine session, right? And so that is the medicine. All those impact statements are the medicine. This is the medicine that's not just going to be healing for you, but this is also the medicine that's going to reach everyone else, because they're going to be able to be transformed by your story. So now that said, what we're going to do is we're going to break into little groups here. And we're going to, I just want to have everybody, we're going to do groups of 3, and I'm going to have everyone just kind of like we're not going to, not everybody, if you have one that you want to read and you guys want to work it together in your little session, I'm going to give you guys about 8 minutes to, someone can read their story. If somebody has a story to read, you guys can help the person who's reading their story. If you don't, you can just share your verbal story and think about where you want to start that story with, like, like where you were to where you are, or where you are to where you're getting. So you might not be there yet, but you're like, this is where I'm at and this is where I'm heading to. This is what I'm inspired by. This is where I'm motivated to get to. Okay. So get ready to go into breakout rooms. How many of us are there? There's 28. So 28 divided by 3 is 8, 9. So we're going to do 9 rooms, and somebody will be in a room of 4. All right, this is great. Okay, good. So, here we go. I'm going to open all rooms. Yay. All right, I'm going to give you 8 minutes. And so also what I want you to do while you're in here, I want you to set up interviews. So start with just getting everyone's contact info to create interviews so that you can interview 3 people this week. And we're going to focus on getting to those widen your reach points. So you want everybody to get those 99 points this week for Sarah's application, right? So we want to make sure we're all getting at least 3 interviews this week, 99 points. Or you want to do 10 lives this week. If you didn't go live last week, then you want to get 10 lives by Saturday. So you have 199 points. So you get 99 points for doing 3 videos. You get an additional 100 because you've done 10 in a month. When you do 10 in a month, you get an additional 100-point bonus. Okay, so that's how you get to 199 this week, is you do 3, and then you do a total of 10. That covers 3, which is 99 points, and that covers 10, which is 100 points by Saturday. So think of that in mind. So first schedule your really quickly, or you can do that at the beginning and the end of session, but just make sure you have time to do that, and then jump right into maybe take, like, if somebody has a written story and you want to work it, then you guys can do that. Otherwise, I'm going to have you just like each kind of take a turn sharing your 2-minute story and just having some feedback around finding your impact statement. Imagine if you're going to go on to stage and share your story, you're going to be at a healthy happy hour and you want help with, like, how do I open my story? How am I going to start my story? What's that impact statement I'm going to start my story with? Okay, here we go. You have till 12:58. So welcome back from the breakout rooms. How was that?
It was great. I didn't realize we were going to have so much time because we just sort of did one person.
I'm sorry. It was just like, I was going from room to room and I kept going, oh, I want to work with these people. I want to work with these people. And then I was just like, oh my God, the time just totally escaped me.
No, it's all right. It's just, we could have stayed longer. Anyway.
In the future, I will definitely be more realistic and give you guys just more time. Instead of trying to say, we'll do it in 8 minutes, I'll just be like, we're going to take 15 minutes. I'm really just going to do a deep dive. So I apologize for, and then you're like wondering, like, are we going to end soon? Are we going to end soon? Like, I don't want to get cut off. So what are some of the takeaways from that exercise, or whatever? Takeaways, breakthroughs, ideas, impact statements?
I think it's, I'll just keep going. I think it's a really impactful thing to do. I mean, where I just have somebody else listen, have 1 or 2 people listen, because we can't hear our own story really. And I mean, Emily can talk to this, whether it was helpful for her because we worked on hers, but you know, and it's just how you extract the impact statements, or the, you know, and so I think it worked really well.
Good. Did anybody come up with some new impact statements? Did anybody kind of have a little like breakthrough, like, yay, I got mine? Awesome. Oh, good. I like to see Amy's got 2 hands up. That's awesome. Estelle. Okay, great. Who feels like they still need to work on theirs? Who's still like trying to find their rhythm with it? Okay, good. Feel free to send them to me and your upline so that we can just kind of look home through your impact statements and look at it. And we can say, hey, or start here or whatever if you want to. I'm totally down. So send it to me and your upline. Awesome. Well, that's it. It's 1:15 exactly. I told you guys we're going to start doing these. These are going to be hour and 15-minute calls, and we did just that. Finally, we just started like ending it right on time. So I love you guys. I can't wait. Please tag me when you do share your post. 7:30 a.m. Like, I would just share this at 7:30 a.m. You could share it with your if you change your profile picture, just edit your profile picture and immediately copy and paste this into your profile picture, your new profile picture. If you do that on Facebook, whenever you change your Facebook profile, that gets a lot of attention, especially if you haven't done it in a long time. And so you just want to put your story right in there. Anyway, thank you all. I love you. Thanks, Julie, for being on the hot seat today. Much appreciated. Have a great day, everybody. Take care.
Thank you.